Win big with new DRF All Access past performances. With one best-in-class product, you now get all three past performance formats. Go to DRF.com and use coupon code 1FREEPP for a free single card today.
Ashley Mailloux and Mike Beer here with the daily racing form. 4 graded stakes this Saturday at Aqueduct, and the big one with all the attention will be the Grade 2 Wood Memorial, race number 10 of 11 on their card. And we'll look at this event, mile and an eighth on the dirt, obviously points on the line as these horses work their way towards the Kentucky Derby. And it's a huge field, Mike, 13 in total.
Yeah, big field, kind of a wide open race, I guess, if you can get past the 4 deterministic. He's only run twice. He's looked really good in both of those races. He's going to be a short price in here. I mean, I guess he doesn't have to win, but man, he's looked good in his first 2 starts.
We're talking about 7 to 5 on the morning line. A couple of others, though, maybe to mention. Uncle Heavy's looked good in some of his performances. The 9 Tuscan Sky as well. And then outside of these ones, I mean, everyone else is pretty big price in here on the morning lines. And we'll move on here to the time form pace projector here for the Wood Memorial. It projects a fast pace with the number 2 El Grande O, likely forwardly placed from that inside draw, but kind of a cluster of horses behind this one, including Lonesome Boy, the 6 Evening News, and the 7 Merit. I think the pace could be fairly quick in here with a lot of horses that at least have shown an eagerness to be forward.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, it's hard not to look at El Grande O's overall form and not think they're going to the lead one more time here, even as they stretch him back out to 9 furlongs. But he's a fast horse, and his good races are on the lead, and there are plenty of other horses that could keep him company up there.
We'll kick it off here with the number 1 Resilience for Bill Mott, John Velasquez in the irons. Blinkers on for the first time in his career. He was able to graduate 2 starts back at Gulfstream Park, and more recently tried the Grade 2 Risen Star, where I think overall, when you look at his performance for tackling winners for the first time in a graded stakes event, I think there's a lot of good takeaways from that race.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I liked his win 2 starts back anyway. I thought that was a pretty good performance. And, you know, listen, he ultimately wasn't good enough in the Risen Star last time, and he had a shot at that race, but he tried really hard in there. He was far from embarrassed against a field which, you know, maybe you agree with this and maybe you don't. That field was way better than this one.
I agree, and I think, you know, you look at the 3rd place finisher who was just in front of him, Catching Freedom, came back to win the Louisiana Derby. Track Phantom, Sierra Leone, both big names as well. We'll see what Sierra Leone does in the Bluegrass this weekend. So I think that's kind of a nice stepping stone to now try to turn it up just one more notch. And I think he does draw the inside. We've talked about the blinkers. He should be forward if he's not necessarily going to be on the lead type, but can maybe get that nice trip sitting just off of it. Now, we talked about maybe a more of the need the lead type or a forward type. That's the number 2, El Grande O, who was 3rd last time out in the Gotham. He's just faced horses that he's going to have to face again, Mike, that have just been better than him in those last 2.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a real problem for this horse. It feels like, because I just don't know how much more improvement you can project from El Grande O. We kind of already know what he is. He ran great 2 starts back at this distance in the Withers. And even as I say that, that was the toughest of tough beats there to get nailed on the wire. But he still had no excuse not to win. And then he comes back last time. He runs really well again. He improves his figure, and deterministic just runs him over in the stretch. I mean, this horse is good, and he's not in over his head here. I just feel like I can't see him moving forward one more time, and he might have to do that to win here.
Now, the 2 horses that we talked about so far, they don't come into this race off of wins, but the 3 Lonesome Boy does. We'll take a look at this performance where you don't know what he necessarily faced in stakes competition at Parks, but certainly handled the off track very nicely and ends up cruising here to an easy, almost 7th length victory.
Yeah, it seems like he really did like the wet track here. And then you see the favorite that's chasing him there, the 4, just sort of wandering all over the track instead of trying to catch him in this race. So I feel like, I wonder if that exaggerated this margin a little bit. I don't know. I'm not going to knock this horse. He ran fine last time. It doesn't make me interested in him at all in this race.
Yeah, he's got a 78 buyer, but these are deeper waters. And you go down the page, he's faced some other horses that are on the undercard and hasn't fared well against him. He's 50 to 1 on the morning line. Now, kind of hyped him up already. The 4 Deterministic looks extremely tough on that 7 to 5 morning line. And when we look at his most recent performance, right after his debut, he was able to tackle the Gotham, the Grade 3 event, and got almost a similar trip. It was actually a little bit more close to it early on, Mike, and draws clear in here.
Yeah, I did like the position that he got early in this race, and he did manage to stay sort of towards the outside, but he's going to, you know, sort of drift in a little bit here, making the run through the stretch. I don't know, man. I just liked everything about this performance. It was a really long layoff, having to deal with that wet track And it's not like it was, some kind of field full of pushovers. It was actually a pretty good field. And he won that race really easily. You got a figure for it. You can go back and check his debut. Anybody who hasn't seen it, if you have time, he was super impressive winning that day. I just think this horse is good.
I like the way he strided to the wire. He looked so easy and kind of under wraps, just gliding towards the finish line. So he does look extremely tough in here and obviously can take a step forward, second off that debut performance. Now, the 5 protective, we talk about Rapoli, talk about Todd. Obviously, they're always in the hunt in these sorts of races. Blinkers on, and here they have a maiden.
Yeah, I don't know if I love the blinkers going on him here, but maybe he needs them. He's not my kind of horse, a maiden stepping into the Wood Memorial. I get why they might want to try him. He's got pedigree. His debut was fine, sprinting, and then he missed a lot of time. He had trouble on the first turn last time. I just don't really know what to make of that race. I'm not sure it was a super strong performance. And I felt like it was maybe a little bit of a mirage. How close he got at the end of that race, I felt like maybe it was a little bit of a mirage. He never looked like he was going to win in that spot.
The 6 Evening News is a horse that does have a dirt start under his belt, but you have to go all the way to the debut, and since then has either been on the turf or the synthetic surface at Turfway Park. And obviously his last 3, they've been good, Mike. He was able to win his last easily. He beat Gettysburg Address in that non-winners of 2 life allowance race, but the concern would be the surface. Is his number inflated because he really likes that surface? The dirt's a big question for him.
Surface is a big question for him. I think it's also fair to wonder did that figure improve so much last time just because he was in complete control of the pace without having to go fast? I mean, I'm sure he's going to show speed in this race. I doubt he's fast enough to get control in here. I just feel like he's got to do a lot better.
I agree. The 7 Merits, another one that might have to step it up, was a runaway winner on debut at the 7/8 distance down at Gulfstream Park. Put him on the shelf for a little bit so he could be kind of unwrapped as a 3-year-old, and he just hasn't been able to get the job done. Whether he's been on the lead or chasing the pace, I think the concern is at a mile and a mile and an eighth, Mike, he's just been flat. He doesn't have what he needs in those final stages.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was particularly clear last time. I know that at that time, anyway, Conquest Warrior was all the rage. But this horse, he had an easy time of it up front in there, and he was just no match for that horse. And Conquest Warrior still has a chance to be good, as badly as he disappointed last weekend. He still has a chance to be good. So maybe you want to take that into consideration. I just don't like what this horse has done enough in his first 3 starts to want to bet him here.
The 8 Elysian Meadows up next, a son of City of Light, who was 4th last time out in the Sam F. Davis. We'll take a look at that performance down at Tampa Bay Downs. And to me, I think the big contrast is he was stretching out, he was getting away from New York breds, and he had to rally from off of it. Once, kind of similar to what he did on debut. And I know he's just 4th best in here, but I thought overall it was an okay performance. He could maybe build off of something like this.
Yeah, I agree with you. And he's 4th in here. He's just going to miss 3rd at the end of this race too. I mean, he comes running here and he just misses it. And he's, just to point out, he's 4 wide around the track in this, but he never got to save any ground in there. I thought it was kind of an underrated performance. He's obviously got to improve a lot in this race, but in a race where I thought the long shots were kind of hard to like, he's a long shot that I'm interested in.
And he's 15-1 on the morning line. Now, the number 9 Tuscan Sky is 4-1 on the morning line, undefeated now in 2 career starts, was able to debut at Aqueduct, a runaway winner, and then last time out won again. I want to get your thoughts on the last out performance for a couple of reasons. He was stretching out to a mile and a 16th. It was an off track at the fairgrounds, but the bigger thing is he only had 2 other competitors.
Yeah, those are the toughest races to evaluate, man. I mean, I'll give him, at least I wanted to. Let's say that. I wanted to give him a little credit, if only because it's such a short field. He really only had 1 horse to worry about. That's Nash, who wound up finishing 2nd. And you knew Nash was going to be on the early lead. And so Sias just sort of had to make sure that he kept that horse honest. And he just sort of chased that horse all the way around the track. And he was way better than that horse through the stretch. I thought his debut was really impressive too. I don't know that I'm going to sit here and say that I'm dying to bet him at some kind of short price in the Wood Memorial, but I mean, there's got to be at least some chance that this horse is really good, right?
There has to be. And obviously he's had a tackle on off track in his 2 starts to this point. Yeah. You wonder what'll happen on a fast track. I mean, I think if anything, he could step forward right on a fast track. I'm not of the camp that believes, well, he just likes an off track. I don't think so. I think he make the right moves. And I like that he's got a nice drill coming in here off of Palm Beach Downs back on March 30th. So I think he's live, but also at 4-1, at a short price, I agree. I can't use him in a spot like this if he's too short. Now, the 10 Gettysburg Address, a long shot in here that's going to switch barns, now joins the barn of Dallas Stewart. It's going to get blinkers on. Now, race with blinkers in those first 2 career starts, they've been off. And I think his performances, Mike, I don't know what your thoughts are. They've been okay. They haven't been great, but maybe this is a building block and he joins new connections.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way about him. Another horse who's going to be a big price in here, and there aren't that many long shots that I thought were that interesting. His debut was good. I thought his street sense was that's the one race. I know it was a wet track. I thought it was kind of an underrated performance. So that pace was pretty fast, and he was cutting it, and he just got tired at the end. The two most recent dirt starts, he had trouble at the start in both of them, and just wound up way back in the pack. I wonder if he breaks better here, gets himself into a better position. Maybe there's a forward move coming.
The 11 Society man graduated last time out. We'll take a look at that replay at Aqueduct. Is going a mile over the mud, and he's been interestingly managed. He was able to step up in his second career start. Then they decided to try the Withers, and then they regrouped, and he really improved here. I wonder though, did it help with the off track and the pace setup that he got?
Yeah, that's the question. I mean, he does look good winning this race, and I'm not going to knock him. It feels like Gargan liked him anyway. They ran him in the Withers one start prior to this. But this track is really wet. He had a super fast and contested pace in front of him too, and he just came running into it. Maybe he gets another setup here, though. I mean, there's a chance that this pace gets pretty fast.
Big Price is the number 12 at Deposition, which when you think Uriah St. Louis, I always think Big Prices, Mike. When you look at the tote action on some of his horses in the past, he was fourth in the Withers, excuse me. I actually thought ran okay, but when they regrouped and went to the Gotham, he really didn't have much to offer. He's kind of in the same position throughout the race.
Yeah, he didn't run very well last time. I'm with you. I thought his Withers was okay. I didn't think it was, anything that made me, feel like, oh, now that they're coming back in this race, I'm just going to have to bet him back here at a mile and an eighth. It could help him. I'm just not really sure he's good enough. He's a big price if you like him. This trainer's pulled off plenty of upsets in the past.
Now we've talked about the Withers. The number 13, Uncle Heavy, won the Withers. We'll take a look at that performance. And for him, this was a step up. Obviously, he's a PA bred who had faced those Pennsylvania breds in the PA nursery and the wait for it. But he came to New York, and I thought this was a really good performance. He's going to get up just in time to win by a nose over El Grande O. And he took a step forward, which is what he needed to do.
Yeah, he did. This is a really good performance. I mean, that poor El Grande O on a clear lead here, and he's just going to get nailed. But he's going to get nailed because Uncle Heavy comes running through the stretch here and gets him. I don't know. I like this performance. Overall, I like all of his races, even the only loss where he totally blew the start. Otherwise, this horse could be undefeated on the way into this start. It's too bad for him that he had to miss a little time being quarantined, and now he draws post 13 for the Wood Memorial. It's too bad for him. This horse is good, though, and he'll be running at the end of the race.
Yeah, a bit of a victim of bad luck. And I wish he drew better because I think I would have had the guts to use him maybe on top in here, at least for second. I think there's going to be the camp here of do you bet against Deterministic or not? And as we look at our top picks, I'm curious to see what you did. And you didn't. You kept with Deterministic in here. And how could you not in some ways off of those two performances so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's good. I do like both of his races so far. I know he's got to stretch out here around 2 turns, and we'll see if it makes a difference. He's certainly bred to get this far, so I'm not going to worry about it. And again, as we sort of, alluded to going through it, Ashley, I don't know. I couldn't find the long shot that I liked in this race. I couldn't find the horse I wanted to take a shot against him with. I just put him on top and chalked it out.
I tried to find my price and I landed on the one Resilience just for a couple of reasons. I'm going to take a swing. He's 6-1 on the morning line. If he goes off higher than that, I'd be probably a little bit happier. I thought looking at the Risen Star, Sierra Leone was very impressive, came from the clouds. We talked about Catching Freedom being the winner of the Louisiana Derby, and I think that horse is getting good at the right time. And in terms of his trip, he just sat off of it. We know Track Phantom likes to go to the front, and I think all in all, it was a good performance. I like the blinkers going on. Now he draws the inside. I just got to hope that he gets a good position early on and can make a run. But if Deterministic does anything like he did in the Gotham, I think he will be extremely tough to beat. So you can see 4, 9, 13, 10 for Mike, 1, 4, 13, 9 for me. We both have some interest in Uncle Heavy on the outside, but no post relief for that one, Mike. So we'll see what happens here. Deterministic looks tough, 7-5 morning line favorite in this year's edition of the Wood Memorial. Best of luck.